Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another installment of swatching all of my shadows of one color. Before I start, I do want to say that this is totally 100% inspired by Butte Bean. Actually, she changed her name to Baddie Bean. She did a series where she swatched like all of her eyeshadow colors, and I wanted to do it too. So here we are. I will link her channel down below. Today it's green. If you haven't been able to tell, I'm looking a little crazy. I did a green blush. So I'm all in on the theme today. I'm dedicated to this video. I pulled the palettes and like all the shadows that I want to swatch, and I do have to say I have a lot more green than I thought. I actually was like, oh, this will be such a short video. I have like no green shadows, which obviously is not the case. I think I have a lot of like single greens and palettes, like palettes with like one green. Anyway, because this video will probably be 1,000 years long, let's just get into it and stop hearing me talk. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit more for the swatches and let's just do it. So let's start. This is the palette that I'm mostly wearing on my eyes today. This is the Juvia's Place, the Tribe palette, and this is the closest I have to an all green palette. Obviously it's not totally all green because there are some oranges in here. So let's do the shade Maasai, the shade Tutsi, and we'll include Koro because it's pretty, like it's like a gold green duochrome. So we have Maasai, Tutsi, and Koro. I'm wearing all of these shades on my eyes today. This is in my inner corner. And then we have the shade Kuba. I'll include the shade Ashanti because it is definitely like green leaning, and the shade San, which is this dark matte shade down here. So we have Kuba, which is a really beautiful, oh, that's so pretty. And then Ashanti, which is honestly one of my favorite shadows in my collection. It's such a pretty shade. More brown, but definitely has green undertones. And then, oops, this last matte, which is called San. Those are all the greens from the Tribe palette. Then we have the Saharan palette from Juvia's Place. There's one green in here. The shade Kia is a really deep green. With a warm base to it. That's really pretty. I don't use that shade enough. Then we have the Afrique palette from Juvia's Place. There's two greens in here, the shade Niger and the shade Togo. So Niger is a matte, like true mid-toned green, and then Togo is a just like metallic green. Then we have the Nomad palette by Juvia's Place as well. I'm just going through all my Juvia's Place palettes. So there's this gray toned green matte here. This is more of just like a taupe, and then let's do the shade, which is again like a bit of a browny green. So there's this dark murky green, and then this mid-toned green. Similar to Ashanti, they're very similar colors for sure. Then we have the Zulu palette from Juvia's Place. I'm going to, okay, so I'm gonna swatch this matte here and this green. For some reason this shimmer looks blue to me, so I'm gonna include it in the blues, even though it's basically the shimmer version of this matte, but whatever. So this is like a teal, I guess. Pretty in between blue and green, but to me these kind of shades are more green. And then we have this like limey metallic green. Then we have the Warrior palette from Juvia's Place. There's one matte green right at the top here. Oops. When I have lotion on, which is like, I guess every day, The mattes just sometimes stick down when I first put my finger down, but that's not necessarily indicative of like their quality. Then we have the Deuce palette from Juvia's Place as well. Again, one green right up here. This is like a minty green. This is actually might be the only like mint that I have. I also don't use this enough. That's really, really pretty. Then we have the Magic palette. There are a few greens in here. So I'd say the shade Aja is a green, like a dark green. The shade Yara and the shade Buzo. So we have the shade Aja, which is a really dark metallic green, the shade Yara, and the shade Buzo. I thought I could fit all of my Juvia's Place greens in one arm, but I guess not. So switching sides, we have two Juvia's Place palettes left. This is the Masquerade palette. We have the shade Mali right up here. This is the only green in this palette. Maybe I'll just build that up a little bit more. And then we have the Nubian 2. There's also just one green shade in here. The shade Egypt, which is this really beautiful dark forest metallic green. Really, I love this shade. It's like actually more of like an olive. And that, I believe, is on my Juvia's Place palette. So let's just go into the other stack that's right in front of me. This is the Makeup Addiction Cosmetics Meadow palette. Again, just one green in here. This green shade is called Poison Ivy. Really beautiful green, pretty like mid-tone true green with a slight gold shiftiness to it. Then we have the Colored Rain Safari Rain palette. I'm gonna swatch this whole middle row. So we have the shade Jungle, which is like a dark teal, the shade Green Valley, and the shade Congo Basin. So this is the shade Jungle, the shade Green Valley, and the shade Congo Basin. Such a beautiful palette. Oh my god. Randomly, let's do some ABH, I guess. So this is the ABH Subculture. There are 3 greens, maybe 4. So let's do the shade Electric, which probably won't swatch that well, the shade Destiny, and the shade Untamed. So this is Electric, which doesn't swatch well at all, Destiny, and Untamed. Destiny looks more gray here, but it looks like a very like murky green in the palette. Oh, I kind of swatched those in the side of my arm. And then lastly, I'm going to swatch the shade Axis, which is this really dark teal shade here. So let's just do this, I guess, underneath. They swatch well. I actually don't have that much of a problem with the Subculture, but they do swatch really well, which I guess is kind of the point of it. Then we have the Jackie Einen ABH palette. So let's, to me, actually, is this a green? Trust Issues. Let's swatch Trust Issues. I feel like it's more of a goldy green, and then the shade Sponsored. So this is Trust Issues, which to me I guess is more of a gold, but whatever, I swatched it anyway. And then the shade Sponsored, which is a really, really beautiful shadow. I also don't use this nearly enough. Look at that, so pretty. Then we have the Beauty Bakery Do It For The Gram palette. I want to say there's just one green right here. Again, this is like a warm based green. So when I swatch it, it looks like very red, but it's a similar shade to Sponsored in that it's a green with like a warm base to it. Again, really pretty. Those shimmers in this palette I do like. Some Beauty Bay palettes. So we have the Utopia palette by Beauty Bay, which I actually haven't used these shades. I've used the purple, but not the greens. So let's do the shade, what? I don't know. Halcyon? And the shade Eden. I've never seen that word before. So there's this Halcyon green. It's a matte, like very light green. And the shade Eden, which is a slightly more yellow toned green. Oh, I might not be able to fit all my Beauty Bay greens on here. So, okay, this is the next batch of greens. Really beautiful. Such a range of undertones and stuff. I just love doing these videos, to be honest. All right, continuing with the Beauty Bay green. So this is the Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. I'm sure everyone is very familiar with all the shades in this palette at this point. There's actually a good number of greens in here. So there's the shade Forest, the shade Breeze, and the shade Mint. So we have Forest, Breeze, and Mint. Actually, I will swatch Ray as well because this is definitely a green. And then we have Moss and Ivy. So we have Ray, Moss, and Ivy. And then we have Lime, Leaf, and Eucalyptus. So we have Lime, Leaf, and Eucalyptus, which is not the best swatch. And I haven't even peeled the sticker off this mirror yet. And then we have the Beauty Bay Book of Magic palette. There's more like teals in here, but I feel like there's 3 greens. So if I just hold this up, okay. So we have the shade Hex, the shade Bewitched, and the shade Spell. These are all like tealy greens that to me fall in the spectrum of green. So we have Hex, very light again, whatever this one is, can't remember. Bewitched? Yeah, Bewitched, and then that last one was Spell. Maybe more blue, but to me, these are green. Maybe let's end off with some Kaleidos greens. So we have the Kaleidos Futurism 1 Sci-Fi Green. Holding these palettes up is never easy. Oh my god, okay. So please excuse this, but oh, I can't hold it. Okay. Whatever. We have this green, and then this shimmery green. So we have the first matte, the second matte, and the third matte. Or the third. No, the shimmer. The shimmer. It's the shimmer. Oh my god, maybe I won't even be able to fit all these Kaleidos ones. I'm trying to like be smart and do it by brand, and then I keep running out of room. And then, ooh, yeah, okay. So then we have this, okay. Then we have the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. Let's do Mint Fever, Aloe Cove, Chlorophyll. So Mint Fever, Aloe Cove, and Chlorophyll. I'm gonna have to do some finagling here. Whatever. So this is the next batch of greens. There's no point. Let me just do it in the next swatch. If I had unlimited space, then I would do it all the way down, but whatever. And then let's do Sungazer and Earthship. So we have Sungazer and Earthship. Then we have the Kaleidos Escape Pod. So we have the shade Galactic Gala and the shade Saturnalia. Such beautiful shimmery greens. So here is Galactic Gala, and this is Saturnalia. I mean, deliciously beautiful. So pretty. Whoops. And then we have Kaleidos and Angelica Nyqvist Club Nebula palette. There's a good amount of greens in here. There's the shade Firefly, which is so pretty, the shade Gravity, and the shade Queen of Blades. So we have Firefly, Gravity, Queen of Blades. That's, I guess, the second half of my Kaleidos greens. If I was more organized, I would have been able to do them all in one arm, but today I'm really just going for it. We're just swatching. We're swatching with reckless abandon. Then we have the Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette. Lots of greens in here. There's the shade Bonnie, Marnie. I'm going to include Nancy in the greens. This to me is more green than blue. So we have Bonnie, Marnie, and Nancy. And then last but not least, we have Fiona as I blind you with this gold palette. And then we have Fiona. Again, a warm based green duochrome. I never get sick of those shades. Can't lie. I cannot tell a lie. And then we have Colored Rain Juicy Boost. So I want to say there's 3 greens in here. So we have Cucumber Avocado, Mint Leaves, and Kalia. So there's Cucumber Avocado, Mint Leaves, and Kalia. I feel like I have room for one more, so let's do the Urban Decay Born to Run. Maybe is this green or blue? That's blue. Okay, so I feel like there's only one green in here, the shade Wanderlust, which is this like metallic forest green. So this is Wanderlust, really pretty as well. All right, and that is the next batch of greens. So definitely lots of greens, because other videos I would be like done with 4 forearms, but we're keeping on trucking. And I'm not mad at it. Like, these are so pretty. All right, so moving right along, then we have the Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam. There's 2 greens in here. There's the shade Cactus and the shade Wanderlust. I have 2 green shades named Wanderlust. That's kind of fun. So we have the shade Cactus, which did not swatch well. This is, to me, is a pretty unique shade of green. I don't know what's going on with that swatch. And then Wanderlust. Let me build that up again. Then we have my Sydney Grace and Temptalia palette. So here is the Quintessence palette. There's 2 greens, maybe 3 greens. So there's the shade Borealis, Galactic Muse, and Interstellar. So we have Borealis, Galactic Muse, and Interstellar. Lots of greens in these palettes. Then we have the On the Horizon palette, which I just uploaded a video doing 3 looks with it. We have, okay, why could I do it with the other one and not with this one? Oh my god. Jesus. Okay, so we have Earthbound and Desert Spoon. So Earthbound and Desert Spoon. And then we have Radiant Reflection. And in here there is Jealousy's Descent and Sublime Reverie. I love the names. So we have Jealousy's Descent and Sublime Reverie. Then we have Melt Smoke Sessions. So there's actually quite a good number of greens in here. So I do think Black Widow is like kind of a bronzy green. Then we have Sour Diesel and Space Queen. So this was something, I can't remember the name right now. This is more of an olive, and then Sour Diesel and Space Queen. Watch me also run out of room with all my melts. Oh my god, I'm a mess today. We have Mean Green, Sweet Tooth, and Blue Dream, which is not a blue, but I guess it's the name of a weed, so whatever. So we have Mean Queen, something else, and Blue. Okay, I can't remember any of these names. Oh my god, I'm gonna run out of room for... I'm a travesty. So I just watched Mean Green, Sweet Tooth, and Blue Dream. And this was called Black Widow. Alright, so there's another batch. Let me do... No, there's no point. There's another batch of a mixture of things. And then we have Melt Vita. No, I'm gonna do Agua Ardiente, Papel Picado, and Serape. So we have Agua Ardiente, Papel Picado, and Serape. Then we have Melt Muerte. So we have Lagrimas and Angelito. So this is Lagrimas and this is Angelito. The amount of times that I've swatched this palette is ridiculous. Oh, nope. And we have, right beside it, Duelo, which is a dark teal. So this is Duelo. Then we have Melt Gemini. So we have these shades Mochi, Fire OG, and Goals. So there's Mochi, Fire OG, and Goals. And lastly, we have Leo. So this is Leo. So there are some more of my melt greens. Not all of them. Oh shit. Okay, so my camera cut me off, which was rude as always. We have a tenuous relationship, but let's just continue on. So now we have the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. And there's actually a good number of greens in here, I gotta say. So the names are on this stupid flap, so I don't know them right now, but I'm doing this one, this shimmer, this green here. Okay, let me try to see these names. So this is the shade Troop. This is the shade Shield, which looks more bronze. Interesting. And this is the shade Lethal, which did not swatch well. Still didn't do great, but whatever. And then there's one more shade. Then there's this darker matte and then this darker shimmer. Okay. So this is the shade Royal. And this is the shade Jubilee. I'm not really thriving with these swatches right now. I think I can fit one more shadow onto this arm. So let's do the Pat McGrath Celestial Divinity. And there are, maybe I'll do, the one true green here is the shade Megabyte. Like this is like an olive. The shade Dragonfly, maybe I'll swatch it. But I don't know if it's like a green, maybe it's more of like a purple. It's a really strong duochrome, so I don't know. But this is the shade Megabyte. Let me look at my mirror. So beautiful. And then this is Dragonfly. Yeah, it's basically right in between a kind of green, purple. It's a, you know, you get it. It's greenish. All right, so that is the next forearm done. Holy shit, I have so many greens. I was not expecting this. All right, we're checking on. So let's do, I guess, just some more random ones. So this is the Makeup Revolution Reloaded Iconic Division palette. Again, an obvious dupe of Subculture. So we have this one, this matte, and then this one. So this is the first matte, the second matte, and then that shimmer, which swatches honestly better than the original. And then we have this one down here. Right there. Definitely not as saturated as the original. Then we have the Makeup Revolution and Roxxsaurus palette. So this is the shade Draco, which is like a dark teal. So this is the shade Draco. Then we have the NYX Ultimate Shadow Palette in Phoenix. There's one murky green right down here. That's probably going to look gray when I swatch it. Yeah. I don't know why that swatched so well. That doesn't even look green. It looks like a taupe, but in the palette it looks green. Then we have the Pure and Raw Beauty Christie palette. There's one green in here, the shade Garden State. So we have Garden State. Then we have the Colourpop Good Sport palette. Let's do the three down here. So this is the shade Hooked, the shade Trophies, and the shade Ebb. So this is the shade Hooked. Let me build that up a little bit. The shade Trophies and the shade Ebb. Ebb is the only one that looks truly green. And then we have the Lime Crime Venus 2. Actually, there's probably two greens in here. So there's the shade Pigeon and the shade Marsh. Well, it's not really a green. So Pigeon and Marsh. Pigeon, again, is just one of those, like, maybe it's more blue. It's like a warm base, greeny blue shift. And then now maybe let's try to do all my Morphe greens, and then my singles, hopefully we'll keep them all in one arm. So this is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill Vault palette, or Vault Collection palette, in the shade Dark Magic. Three greens in here. So there's the shade Trickery, which almost has hard pan, so I feel like it's not going to swatch that well. The shade Potion and the shade Inside Job. So we have Trickery, Potion, and Inside Job. Yeah, Trickery did not swatch very well. Then we have another Vault Collection palette. This is the Armed and Gorgeous palette. There's one green in here, the shade Top Secret right here. So this is the shade Top Secret. Then we have the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill Original palette, Volume 1 palette. Let's see, this maybe, we'll count that as blue. I don't know why the shimmers to me are more blue. No, that's light. Okay, let me do this one, and this metallic green. So we have this one, and this darker green. And then there is this really dark matte green down here, which actually is quite like dark and pigmented. And then we have the Morphe and James Charles palette, which I don't know how many greens there are in here. So there's this one, and then these two mattes. So there's this metallic green, and then this light matte, and this darker matte. All right, and then we have some singles. I also don't think I have that many green singles. Just try to open this. Okay, so I have one Clionadh green shade, which is the shade Ripple. This is the shade that I'm wearing on my eyes today. It is a really beautiful, like minty green with a purple, like lilac shift. So pretty. I think most of my Terra Moons shades honestly are more blue. Is this a greeny? This is partly like gold. It's really difficult to categorize. Maybe I'll do Terra Moon's Inertia. This is like a kind of green, but more bronze. There's red in there. It's like so hard to know. And then I'll also do Light Year because it has like strong greenness to it. But again, it kind of looks gold when you swatch it, so it's just, how are you supposed to know? You know, multi-chromes are difficult. And then, let's see. So we have the shade, maybe I won't be able to fit all my greens. No, I do, I will, if it's the last thing I do. So we have JD Glow Prismatic, which is a beautiful, I like to say multi-chrome, like green with pink and blue. So pretty. Then we have the shade Lemon Lime from JD Glow as well, which is just a lime green. So this is Lemon Lime. Stunning. Let's see. What do I have? I have two greens from Looksy. This is the shade Limelight. It's a really like light iridescent green with some pink to it. So this is Limelight. And then we have Siren of the Sea, which is a beautiful green with a gold shift. You guys, I cannot catch a break today. This is Siren of the Sea. I just like really underestimate on my little elbow there. Underestimate how many greens I have. So let's go back, I guess. So let's just finish off with this arm, whatever, we're all over the place. In the swatches, I'll just include them on this arm as well. Then we have Looksy Nirvana, which is again another of the like warm based shifting green shades. And then last but definitely not least, we have the shade Ivy Lord from Makeup Addiction Cosmetics. This is from their Holy Glow Fantasy palette. It's technically a highlighter palette, but I de-potted it and I use it as singles. It's like probably the brightest green that I have in my collection. And that's all she wrote. So I have a lot of greens, way more greens than I ever thought I had. I'm truly shocked. Like, I legitimately didn't think I was going to have very many greens. Crazy. Do you like green eyeshadow? What do you think? Do you not wear it a lot? Would you wear green blush? I probably wouldn't wear this again, but I guess it was fun for the video. I'm just honestly a little bit lost for words. This is also why I think it's valuable and like a good use of, even if you just like have a larger makeup collection or you like makeup, I think it is valuable to just do this alone and like swatch all your shadows out, because it really makes you remember and realize how much you have. Because if you had asked me, I would have said I had the least amount of greens, and it looks like I might honestly have more green eyeshadows than I have, like orange, which is shocking. Wow, wow, wow. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, you guys. I always love filming these videos, and I really appreciate you honestly taking the time to watch. I feel like there's never too many swatching videos out there, and stay tuned for blue. Maybe I'll be surprised by how many blue shadows I have as well. Yeah. I will see you guys next time. Bye.